Today I'm going to be showing you guys 5 creative effects that you can use in your music videos. So let's just get right into it.
Demon, we send him the same. He copy my flow, he copy my cadence. I'm in the stew right now and I'm faded. Trapping up full clothes, this shit vacant. I said that I love you, psych. I'm loving this money, make some every night. I might buy a mansion, that shit something's like.
So the first effect that I'm going to show you, you don't need any plugins or anything. It's like this digital distortion glop effect on the background. So I have my clip right here of BLP Kosher. First thing that I did already is I roto brushed him out. And a quick overview of the roto settings that I use. I just turn up the feather, turn down the shift edge, and click these 2 boxes right here. And something you can do to improve rotos and masks is you can add on refined soft matte to your roto layer, and then use some additional feathering and smooth. So for this effect, I'll duplicate the background layer, add on turbulent displace, which is built into After Effects, and you can turn the amount to really whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. The key to this is going to be increasing the size until you start to see rips right here through this layer. Now a keyframe evolution. So on the first frame, set my keyframe at 0. Then on the last frame, I can have that go through 2 to 4 rotations. I'll just do 2, and we can keyframe also some amount in size. And every clip is going to be different, so make sure you do what's right for your clip. So I'm just going to play with this a little bit more. Another way that you could do this is you could duplicate the roto layer and then apply the same effects to this layer. So I think I'll do that.
I let that bag come in. I get a rag stomach. Cash flow up, I still got a grind like I ain't had nothing.
And so far I have some that looks like this. And to get that digital look, I'm going to add on this effect called Mosaic, which is also built into After Effects. And then I'll put the horizontal blocks on something like 200 by 200, and it gives me something that looks like this. And if you want to add on some color, what we can do is we can add on tritone or HLS. Those are also both built into After Effects. And honestly, all of these colors work with this scene, but I think I'm going to go with like a blue just to match it a little bit better. You could keyframe the amount and size for everything to go back to normal at the end. And like I said, you can add all this on the background. Next, I can add on some edge rays or some rays by Sapphire on the roto layer. And then once I adjust the color to the color that I want, I can decrease the ray's brightness over here to whatever I want as well, just to help the effect come alive a little bit more when you're compositing. And then typically I'll add on like a stylized color grid on top of everything just to bring it together, add on some grain, RSMB for some realistic motion blur, and you can come up with tons of different variations for this. Here's a few up on the screen. So the reason I'm putting this in the video is because this is a product I've actually been using for like over a year now, and it's something that I find that's actually useful. And this is a Shockwave pack made by Cinepax. There's tons of really good options in here. This one looks sick. I think this one's absolutely beautiful. That one might be my favorite. This one's one of my favorites. I've used this in lots of music videos you might have seen, and I like using this on bass hits in music videos because it really catches your attention. So I'm gonna use this one right here. All I have to do is drag it in, and then I change the blending mode right here to screen. And if you don't see your blending modes right here, just come down to toggle switches and modes and click that until it appears. And I'll drag this behind my subject in the music video, scale it up, and we get something that looks like this so far. And then as it explodes out, if you want to match the color, we can add on some tritone on Yeet right here on the roto subject, or add on another glow like we did in the last one. So we could add on sapphire rays or edge rays, set the color to the correct color, and then keyframe in some brightness here. And then as well, if you want to change the color of the Shockwave, we can add on a tritone effect. Come up here to our midtones and change this to whatever, just like the last one. And you can create some crazy looks. So here's some up on the screen that I just made in only like 3 minutes. I made all of these because all I have to do is drag it in, change the blending mode, and boom, it looks sick. And these are really high quality assets. So if you guys are interested in this, make sure to check out the link in my description and use code jamovfx for $5 off. And all right, man, so this next effect, this is a clone effect that was popularized by Native. If you don't know Native, shout out to him. He kind of popularized and pioneered a lot of the visual effects that are popular today in music videos. And there's lots of clone effects on YouTube, but this one, I haven't seen a tutorial done on how to do it like this. This is kind of like the smoothest looking, sexiest clone effect, if you will. So basically, you know, really simple. I have my guy roto brushed out as always, and I have my background layer behind him. Duplicate my roto layer, and on this second roto layer, what I'll do is turn on motion blur, open up the transform, and I'm going to set the anchor point to be in the center of this guy, just so that the rotation is going to be as smooth as it possibly can be and it's not all janky looking. So near on this last frame, I'll set my keyframe to the default position and just set that exactly in the default placement. Then on the first frame, I'll bring him up here and I'll rotate him this way. It's going to be different for every clip. You just want to make it look as good as you possibly can. When it comes down to it, it's going to be up to you how you do this. So I'll leave him up there, and then I'm going to render this out in quarter instead of full right now to help my render time, because you want to edit as quickly as you possibly can while also maintaining the highest quality possible. And so he starts off here and he's going to end here back in his default placement. Now, right in the middle here, in between where I set these keyframes, I'm just going to bring him over here. It's like he's going to swing through here and do like a little curve where he goes from upside down back into his regular place. Then I'll highlight all these keyframes, easy ease them, and I'm going to mess with the graph editor a lot with this as well, just to make this look good. So if you come right here to this drop down, you can select whether or not you edit the value graph or whether or not you edit the speed graph. I'd recommend using the speed graph. Typically for me, I just think it's easier and I can really get what I want when I mess with it. So starting off, I have something that looks like this, which looks like garbage. So for rotation, I'm going to just click rotation right here, open up my graph editor, and start playing with these keyframes.
I let that bag come in, I get them racks thumbing. Cash flow up, I still gotta grind like I ain't had nothing. Yeah, pack him in the man, I'ma take half of it.
And I have something that looks like this, but now I want to fix the rotation a little bit. So right around here, I'm going to have the rotation kind of swing back this way, overcorrect a little bit, and then it'll slowly ease into back where it was to get something that looks like this. Doesn't look perfect, but for the sake of the tutorial, it will do. And now it's actually really simple what you're going to do to create the effect. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag all of these out, because we're going to start dragging our keyframes over to the left. So we're going to need some room over here. And now on this layer, I'm going to duplicate it, open up our transform drop down, and we're just going to drag this over 2 to 4 frames. And now we just repeat that process. So I'll duplicate it, open up the drop down, move over all of these keyframes, 1, 2, then duplicate it, and then move it over 1, 2, so on and so forth. You just repeat that as many times as you want. And yeah, you can also make it look like this up on the screen. Just keyframe it to go from the default position, then over to the left, then over to the right, then back to the middle. You know, you can get really creative with it and do a bunch of things. And there's a ton of different variations and styles that you can create this effect in. I'll have some up on the screen that I just made. And now we got this effect right here, which is one of my favorite effects that I've ever made. This is from one of my preset packs. I spent months developing this product for you guys, so if you're interested, go check that out. If you guys don't want to drag on all these effects and do all the work, it's made to save you time when you're editing music videos. And I mean, literally all you have to do is drag and drop it onto your scene and you're done. So I'll show you real quick. This is called Fish Pebbles. If you have 1080p quality footage, you can drag on the 1080p version, or if you have 4K quality, you can drag on the 4K version. So once I drag that on here, literally right off the bat, this is what it looks like here, which creates a crazy liquid explosion that looks absolutely beautiful. And then, you know, after the explosion, this super pretty, trippy displacement thing takes over the background and, you know, just really spices up your music video. I'm really proud of this pack. As you can see here are all the effects. I'm going to show you guys how to do this for completely free today, so I'd appreciate it if you guys like, subscribe, support the channel, support your boy. Check out the pack, link in the description. So for CC Mercury, that's the first effect you're going to drag on right here. And I set the velocity to 10, birth rate to 60, gravity to 0, resistance to 1. And then I'll set the blob influence at 0. That's basically going to make it go directly into the middle and pinch it all down to nothing. Then later in the clip, I'm going to keyframe it to 100%, and that's going to reveal it and have that liquid distortion explosion come out and create the beginning of this effect. The next thing I added on here is prism displacement, and I'll keyframe the glass refraction, refractive index, and soften to create some trippier looks. And as you can see here, you can do a ton of really crazy things with it. The refractive index gives more detail in the liquid. The soften can also take away or create more small fine details, and overall it's a super useful tool for displacement maps in general. And as you see here, if you decrease the soften map all the way to 0, it's going to stick to the background really well, so you can even read the text here on the sign. Then I added on this effect called Distort Chroma, which is a similar effect. It's made by Sapphire. So there are a few plugins that you need to use this preset pack right here, but don't worry, because I made 2 preset packs, one for people who have plugins and then one for people who don't have plugins. Then I added on this effect called CC Blobalize. As you see here, when you increase the cutaway to 100, it gets rid of all of it completely, and then as I bring it back down to 0, it fully reveals all of it. This also adds a really unique and good texture for this effect right here. And I mean, come on, this shit looks amazing. Then I added on hue saturation right here and keyframed the channel range to cycle through a bunch of different colors to create the color variation. And then I added on some lumetri color here to add some saturation, and damn. Then finally, you can add on the built-in glow. You can add on deep glow, sapphire glow, perfect glow. Damn, man, I'm killing it right now. And now I can't believe I'm giving out more free sauce. Now this one right here is called the Zebrafi color effect. This is another Sapphire plugin. So if you're punching the air because you don't have any plugins or you don't know how to get plugins, check out all of my other tutorials. I have tons on here that don't require any plugins at all, and I have tons of creative assets that you can also check out. And I show you guys how to recreate famous music video effects with only bare bones After Effects. So check that out. Turn on post notifications too, because I'm posting like 3-4 times a week. So as soon as you drag this effect on, you already know I'm gonna go crazy. First thing I'm gonna do is keyframe the frequency. So on the first frame, just leave it at the default 3, or you can bring that hoe down to 0. Then on the last frame or later in the clip, just increase that frequency as much as you want. And seizure warning, damn. Then as always, highlight your keyframes, easy ease them with F9. If you don't easy ease your keyframes, you'll never find someone that loves you. And so far we've got something that looks like this. And something that I'm going to add on here is Distort Blur. This is also a Sapphire effect, and if you just throw that on there, you get some really awesome looks. I think I'm going to add on some glimmer as well. Oh yeah, look at that. Just increase the threshold a little bit, get some good chrome shine up in there, but you know, that's a little bit too much. You could also add on distort, something like that, and ooh, let's go, man. Mess with the warp a little bit, keyframe some of that warp in there. Golly, let's go, man. If you guys like trippy stuff like this, make sure to check out my website where I sell a bunch of creative assets for y'all. Drop a like, it helps the algorithm and helps me grow my channel. The more y'all help me, the more crazy sauce I can drop for you, just like this video. I've got some editing packs coming soon that are gonna go absolutely crazy. I'm super excited to drop them. Okay, now golly, man, go edit some videos, bro. Get off your butt. Damn.